You'll see Djokavic, instant karma. Australian Open champion is sent home after anti-vax row. It was revealed late last night, the world number one is in a deportation nightmare down under after he was denied entry into Australia. Now, Djokovic was held in Melbourne Airport, had his visa cancelled, and has now been told to return home due to not being vaccinated against COVID-19. John has now discussed more on this. The Times chief sports writer Owen Slot. Owen, a very, very good morning, Owen.
Hey guys.
Owen, it's a strange one here. I'm just trying to get, without getting into the politics of anti-vaxxer or not, clearly he's had the information he's had that he'd be allowed to enter Australia was incorrect.
Yeah, there was clearly some kind of issue as to how they filled in his visa application. They got that slightly wrong, and that opened a window for politicians to pile in and say, "Sorry, you're not allowed into our country." And he's now, they're just going into their nighttime now, aren't they? So the last I heard was that he'd been moved into a detention hotel in a Melbourne suburb, and apparently will have his case heard in court on Monday. So does that mean that he stays in his detention hotel till Monday, or we don't really know? But he's not had a very good time of it.
Owen, can I ask, is this not a little bit embarrassing, really, for everybody involved? Because could this not have been prevented? You know, and there's probably fault in both parties. He could clearly have been told, "Look, you're not getting in unless you've got this," and then he's got a decision to make. It's just a little bit embarrassing, is it not?
Yeah, the whole thing reflects incredibly badly on Tennis Australia and the organisers of the Australian Open, because it appears, and I think one of the things here is there's a lot of things that appear in a certain way, but we're lacking in information as to why they granted this exemption, why he won't give any information as to what allowed him to prove that he was exempt. But
yeah,
it appears that they did their absolute ultimate to allow him to come into the country when other people aren't allowed in on that basis. So they've been made to look foolish, and then you look at the political side of things, and if you're a prime minister who's looking for a popular vote, then it's quite easy to say, sorry to Novak Djokovic, you ain't coming into our country. And as a politician, you look big and brave and firm, and it's an easy populist decision.
Well, maybe he's lucky on that it's not the French Open. The way Macron's gone on, he'd lock him up in the Bastille.
Well, that's a fair point. That's a whole different subject of which countries you're going to be worst off if you arrive in the wrong place at the wrong time.
It's a long flight as well, by the way.
Oh, yeah, but
to go all the way there to come back.
Not in a private jet, it's not, Gab. But are we saying that? I would say the problem is, Owen, you're right. What you said earlier, we don't know the whole facts here. Is Novak just been a bit arrogant? Well, I'm Djokovic, I can not do what I like, but they'll make an exception to me. Or is it, as you say, is it Tennis Australia who have cocked up here?
I suspect it's a bit of both. I think we need to understand a little bit about how Novak and his Novak Djokovic, how he works or how he thinks, if you like. So from our point of view in the UK, we know that he's been on the record as being as having anti-vaccination opinions, and then we see his tweet saying that he's managed to circumvent the arrangements to get into Australia, and that really riles people, doesn't it? But if you look at it from Djokovic's point of view, or people who know him well, he doesn't have a great deal of self-awareness. I mean, you guys won't be that surprised to hear that a lot of sportsmen, they're pretty blinkered and they're looking forward and they're thinking, what's good for me? What do I need to do to go forward? And he's got very strong opinions of his own how to be physically, medically as on point as he possibly could be. And back in Serbia, he's a demigod. There's no one who challenges and say, sorry, we're not with you. They just, he's their greatest export, the most famous Serbian So I'm trying to think of who would come second, but there you go. He doesn't have that course of opinion that maybe would sort of buffet him and say, "Come on, you're getting this wrong and you're misleading people, and actually it's dangerous for a broader population on the whole planet that you're out there campaigning like this."
Yeah.
Oh, and putting the politics, if we can, just to one side for a minute briefly. I noticed Andy Murray get knocked out a kind of pre-tournament in the first round. In terms of the tournament itself, somebody as incredibly successful in that particular tournament as Djokavic, it's clearly not good news for the tournament itself.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was thinking about that yesterday. So there's no Federer and there's no Nadal, as we know. Andy Murray's struggling for form and nowhere near where he used to be. So that'll be a wonderful comeback if it was. So when Novak Djokovic was in the draw as we thought he was 24 hours ago or 48 hours ago, you would have thought he would have been a very, very strong favourite. So yes, it's not good for the tournament, arguably, that he's not there. But on the other hand, if you've got a repeated winner of your tournament who's by some distance the favourite, does it not make it more of an interesting event if it's open? It is the Australian Open. It looks like it's going to be open to someone else. So I think you can argue that both ways.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil. Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.